Hello, and welcome to this introductory video and demonstration of Coltraco Ultrasonics' all-new multi-echo thickness gauge, now with built-in data logging, the Portagauge 6. So, as we can see, we have our main unit, which may look familiar to those of you who are used to our Portagauge 5. We have our 2.5 MHz probe, we have some ultrasound coupling gel, and we have a test block here that I'll be using for the demonstration. So to start with, I'll show you how to take simple thickness measurements. So I'll turn the device on. I will connect the two LEMO connectors into the top of the unit here. And I will go into quick start. So I can either go up on the menu to quick start, or I can just press 1 to bring me there from anywhere on the device. I'll press enter. I'll select the 2.5 MHz 14mm probe, which is what I'm using. And carbon steel is the material we have in this test block here. So I'll press OK. And the device is started to measure. So next I'll place a small amount of gel on each of these test pieces here. So the purpose of this gel is just to ensure that we have good contact with no air gaps between the sensor and the material that we're testing. So I've just placed a small amount of gel on each of these here, and we'll see as I in turn place the sensor on, starting with 1.5mm. You'll see, there we go, 1.5mm on the device, up to 2.5, 2.5 on the device, 5, there we go, 4.95, 10, 15, and 20. So there we go. And it's as simple as that. That's how you take measurements with this device. Now, this is a multi-echo thickness gauge, which means that if I had some coatings on each of these pieces, this would actually be able to detect the thickness of the metal that I'm interested in through up to 20mm of coating, which may be paint or epoxy or any other kind of coating you might be using, and there's no need to strip that away. So let's move on to some of the new features that we have in the Portagauge 6. First of all, I'd like to show you the minimum thickness alarm. So I'll press 1 to bring me back to the main menu. I'll go into System. I'll go all the way down to Calibration. Oops. And in calibration, I can come down to alarm thickness here. You see at the moment this is set to 0mm, which means that the alarm is off. But let's say I'm testing something and I need the thickness to be no less than 5mm thick. I can just enter 5 here, and if I press 1 again, and we'll go and quick start once again, you can hear that right now the device is beeping at me, and that's because, as you can see, it's currently reading 0mm. So if I place this once again onto the 20mm block, once it obtains a reading, you will see there we go, it's obtained a reading and the alarm has stopped. Move down to 15 and you see still no alarm, down to 10, no alarm, 5, and there you go. We're measuring just shy of 5mm here, and you can hear that alarm has started going off. And again down to 2.5, still got the alarm, 1.5, still an alarm, and then back up to 10. And there we go, the alarm has stopped. So that's very useful as just an extra layer of feedback if you're doing tests and you know that your structure can be no thinner than some preset value. You can set that in the device and it will automatically let you know audibly when the value drops below that. So I'm just going to go and turn that off now, which I can do by just setting it once again back to 0. And next I'll show you the data logging. So again, we'll go to, this time we'll go down to log in the main menu, and you see we have here log on or off. So I will turn this on. You can see here we can set a tag, and now this tag is just used as a unique identifier for the test. So here I have it called test. I can use the alphanumeric keypad here to type in anything I'd like. I'll leave it as test for now, but this is something you can use just so that you can identify the measurements to exactly what test you were doing. So I'll just press enter. You see we have the date here, which I have set to today's date, 10th of June. And we have a couple of options which we'll come on to later for clearing the logs and downloading those onto a PC. But now that I've turned data logging on, I can go back through my quick start, and you see I'm currently reading 9.95 with my sensor placed on our 10mm test block. And to log, all I do is press this log button here, doubles as the power button as the off button. So if I press that, you'll see, there we go, saved. And that's now stored the thickness measurement along with that unique tag that we set and the date of the test. So now I'm just going to quickly show you how to take the data that you've logged from the device and download that onto a PC. So first of all, we need to figure out which port our device will be connected to once we've plugged it in. So we plug the device in, and if we go to Device Manager, as I'm showing on the screen here, you see at the moment we've got one COM port in the port section, and when I plug the device in via the micro USB, you'll see that will refresh, and we now have a new COM port called USB serial port. And importantly, take note of where it says COM3, as that's the port that we're going to be using. Next, we want to open some kind of serial software. I'm using Teraterm, and I can recommend that. And we want to select serial, as we can see here in the connection, and select our COM3, matching what we saw on the device manager. Then we can connect. And then what you want to do is you want to go to Setup, Serial Port, and make sure that your settings match what I have on here on the screen. I'm just updating the parity to odd. Our speed should be 9,600. And just make sure you match what we have on the screen, and then press new setting. Then I'm going to go over to the device. I'm going to go to the log file menu in the main menu. I'm going to press on download, and you can see, there we go, we can see that test that we took, 10.3mm with our tag of test. And then end. If we had more logs, they would all appear on here. So next, you can also erase these logs by selecting Erase Logs, as you'll have seen on the device there, and that will just take a few seconds while it clears the hard drive. So if I've taken a bunch of tests and I want to free up some of the storage on my device, I can just erase those logs once I've downloaded them to the PC, and you'll see once that's finished and we press download again, that we have no logs there, so you can see nothing, it's just an empty file.